Existing older filters are reducing the PM2.5 by a significant amount. Now, is 108 good for a gymnasium? No, but I just want people to know that it's not the same as the ambient air. So, and what Paul said.
Right, so I want to amplify on that. Right here with my relatively simple, low-quality instrument that doesn't quite measure PM2.5, measure something like it, it's 5 times better than it was in my bedroom when I woke up. So I'm happy to be in this room talking with you right now, reducing my exposure. And hopefully that's not because of my hot air. So I think to Jeff's point, when you can reduce your exposure, even if it's not as low as you'd like it to be, take every opportunity to do that. The gym might be not a bad place to hang out. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, it would be, I guess, being here for a long time, and it would be unreasonable to ask our kids not to play sports, especially high school kids. It's like impossible to keep them indoors because then, it's like what do they do? And the realistic thing is they are going to be outside. What I want to echo is on the words of was saying is there any way, there seems to be a lot of significant work from a lot of people that have put into like how to maybe quick tips when it comes to, for example, if they're outdoors for a long time, that we can receive, like is it good to maybe get them into the room where the air purifier has been working? Does that make a difference? Does it make a difference for the lungs if we go out, we get out on vacations, maybe here for the population, I'm saying that we go usually during weekends. Does it help the lungs for the children, for us? Because it's mainly the children, right? We're here. I mean, I'm actually pleased with the amount of people that are here because we care about the children. So those quick tips, and because the reality is that we're here and the children need to be outdoors. So how can we, our own little contributions, help to get their lungs to get that?
Yeah, I don't think I have a good answer to many of those questions, but I agree they're really, really important. Yeah.
I saw this TED talk, I can't remember the man's name, but he lives in Bergown, and it says that he has the cleanest air in Delhi due to the plants that he has. And I'm wondering if you...
So, I know him well. I've made some air quality measurements in his building. The building is actually really pretty clean. The plants make the building a very nice place to be. He also has a very nice air filtration system in the building. If I had to guess, I'd say that the air filtration system is what's removing the particles from the air. There's very little evidence that particles can be removed by plants. That I would say is not a statement that's supported by robust scientific evidence. So the plants make the building very nice. They probably do improve the environmental quality in ways that are tangible and intangible, but not with respect to PM2.5. Filters.
I have a question. Thank you, first of all, you're really enlightening, alarming, and so on. I'm curious, even taking us outside the school context for a moment, given the work you're doing professionally here, are you also, well, I guess what capacity do you think there is to really start having change come from within the Indian government? You mentioned there is interest on some levels. I know statistically, I think it's something like 4,000 new cars on the road in Delhi alone every month. So you do the math, and it's very alarming. And also, I would imagine that if there's an opportunity for you to speak to even other schools, kind of people like you to be almost engaging in a tour, across the major cities around the country. Because I feel like we've lived here a few years. My observation is the local population doesn't really think there's much of a problem on some levels. So I feel like to educate, we're a kind of a bubble here. So do you have an opinion on, do you feel like this issue is an issue my question is, do you feel that this issue is on the agenda of the local population and the local government?
So from the government perspective, I think there's a tremendous window of opportunity here with the new administration in power to address this problem. I mean, of course, they're trying to address many, many structural things at once. But to be a little bit cynical for a second, I think there is some amount of eagerness to draw a distinction with the previous government, so this is one way that they could do so. I have spoken with a few ministers who really get it in terms of air pollution being a major risk, but I think it's just a question of competing political priorities and opportunities. I do think there's a huge opportunity to better educate the public. So one thing, when the flights come in at night, often, especially in the winter, it's really foggy. You talk to the cab drivers, they say it's fog, we know it's not just fog, right? So I think that the public can be better informed. Just between this time I was here and last time I was here, I see already a very big difference in terms of how people are talking about it within this community and within other communities. And I think, you know, we have this privileged position in society where we're close to a lot of opinion makers. And so I think that that message can be spread relatively quickly.
Can I just mention to Paul, please? Do you mind just?
Yeah, sure. And just, if I can mention though, there's a student meeting and here at 10 o'clock, so we don't have too much more time, but we'll try to take a few more.
Just
Yes.
really quickly, I really appreciate the way that you and the school are bringing this into the open and letting us have the opportunity to be vociferous about it. However, I do think there's something else the school needs to consider more seriously, and that's the structural way that the year is planned here. And that why are we making our kids have a shorter holiday over the winter period, you know, when we could actually use that period to get out of Delhi at its worst. So taking the kids out over the winter holiday period and making maybe the summer holiday shorter, I'd rather be stifled with heat than with pollution, personally. And I just wonder if that's an issue, maybe we could look at how we structurally change the kids' exposure to the pollutants within Delhi, because we've got more opportunity to leave then, surely.
Yes, and I'm not sure if you, again, if all of you can hear, in essence, the comment was, are there calendar changes that we can make in terms of literally when we're holding school, should there be a shift of sorts during the worst season, that maybe that's the time that we have more vacation time and so on. And one of the things that I would just say, you guys, is that clearly, on one level, a simplistic issue. We know that the levels of 2.5 particulates are high. Is it good for you? It's not. It's sort of, you know, bada bing, bada boom. There's that. Then it starts to get really complicated in terms of how you handle what to do as you consider indoor air quality, as you consider the issue of mass, the time that we spend at school, the other activities that we do, and so on. It is, I would just say to you that it is a rather complex problem as we go about the business of how do we offer an excellent education to your kids, and what does that entail? The good news, if I could end with some good news, obviously we have a very caring community. We have a growing group of people that have developed some expertise. You know, Jen Chase's name has come up, who is a health professional who has been generating a lot of good information. This is one of those times that having an embassy across the street is good. Okay, we have medical professionals that are there that offer us consistent quality advice in that regard. So anyway, I would just, in that, just generally, the research that we're getting, whether it's on air purifiers or mass or whatever, you know, it's growing, and I think we're learning along the way. So what would I ask of you? Help us to learn along the way. We know that this is a very important, in many ways, sort of urgent issue. But most likely, just to tell you from a school standpoint, we will continue our discussions on this matter, trying probably to point to semester 2 and what would be some changes that we might do in terms of our policy, our practices. If you haven't noticed, we got about 4 weeks left in the semester before we do go on vacation. And so, and we have had an indoor air quality group that has been studying the issue of indoor air. Most likely we'll use that as a core group to begin to sort of expand our discussions on what we do in the months ahead. So, important issue. Thank you so much for coming. Josh, thanks for being so generous with your time and for allowing us to come. I suspect lots more questions, but send them to us via email. My guess is that we'll probably have another forum of some type in the not too distant future. Okay? See ya.